Hey everyone. So this video is about my philosophy and approach to teaching disc golf. Now, the reason I'm making this video is there are a lot of people out there teaching disc golf now. A lot of them are highly qualified. People like Jay and Des Redding, Will Shoestrick, Danny Lindell, Nate Sexton, Philo, definitely more than that. But there are some highly qualified teachers out there. There are also a lot of people who are newer to teaching. Even those newer to teaching have wisdom to impart to people who know less than them. So if you're a beginner player and there's a local pro in your town who starts teaching, absolutely it will be a worthwhile investment to spend money with them. Take a lesson for sure. Having said that, the reason I'm making this video is that 95% of the end goal is going to be the same for me as it is for any other teacher out there. With a couple differences, we generally agree on how a golf disc is supposed to be thrown. We will vary wildly, however, on our approach to teaching. And it's not that one approach is better than the other. What's important is that you find what teaching approach works best for your style of learning. You find the right teaching approach to your style of learning, magic is going to happen. So this video is a quick overview of how I teach. If this lines up with you, awesome. Message me at thisgolflesson@gmail.com and we'll set up a video private lesson, or you can request information on the seminars, the 1 and 3 day seminars that I'm now teaching all over the country. So my philosophy, my approach comes down to 3 basic ideas. The first is I'm going to keep it simple. With my videos, all the content videos, tutorial videos, I should say, that I put out there, the most common response I get is that I simplify the game as well as anyone. Now, here's what's important to know. When I simplify it, I am not dumbing it down if you're a new player. Simple is the highest level of throwing technique. Okay, the game's not easy, obviously. But at the highest level, the game is incredibly simple. Only a few things happen on a throw. If you do those 3 things, you can execute the throw. Now, the reason this is important is timing. To have correct timing, which is critical to make a good throw, you have to replicate every single part of the throw correctly every single time. The more things that you do on a throw, the more things you have to replicate, which means every single thing you do that is unnecessary to the throw should be tossed out, right? The fewer things you have to replicate, the more often you'll get the timing right, the more often you execute. Now, there are some very good players out there that do things unnecessary to the throw when they throw. They have all overcome these extra steps. There's no advantage to doing something unnecessary to the throw. Best case scenario, you incorporate that in, and with enough time and practice, you get so good that it doesn't harm you. There's no advantage to it. If there's no advantage to it, we're going to toss it out. We're going to keep it simple. So that's first. I'm going to simplify the game. The second thing, I will differentiate between what you do on a throw and what happens on a throw. Now, this might seem like semantics, but it's not. The difference is actually enormous. You only do a couple things on a throw. Many, many things happen on a throw. I'll illustrate by way of example. One of the most common debates, it's been going on forever, as long as I've been playing. The debate is, when you throw a backhand on your plant foot, on your final step, the debate is, do you rotate on your heel or do you rotate on your toe? Many people say, rotate on your heel. Many other people say, rotate on your toe. The actual answer is, they're all wrong. Okay? When you plant your foot and throw a disc, as a result of the throw, your foot rotated. But you do not rotate your throw. The foot rotation is a byproduct. It is something that happens, not something you do. I think what happens is people watch top players throw. It's a great starting place trying to figure out correct form. You go frame by frame, boom, 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 frame by frame. All of a sudden, you see a player that you're watching, the foot goes down, they get on their heel or their toe, And right when the disc is at a certain place, you see it rotate and you go, that's it. That's when you're supposed to rotate your foot. That player did not rotate their foot. They threw the disc. And when they threw the disc, the foot rotated. So what we're going to focus on with me is the things you do, not the things that happen. Good news is what you actually do is far fewer than what happens. This kind of goes along with keeping it simple. But that's number 2. What you do, not what happens. The third thing is I teach the game with I call it a layered approach. A layered approach starts with what I don't do. What I do not do and what I will not do is I will not watch you throw and say, do that one thing differently, or change that, or alter this. The reason why I do this is that I don't find this to be the most effective way of teaching. Now, this does not mean this is a wrong way of teaching. There are good teachers that will do this. They're not wrong. It certainly would help you, especially if you're new, to get any tips. The problem I found with doing that is, number one, if it was as simple as just doing those things, I think just about everybody would do it. I mean, everybody watches tour videos at this point and tutorial videos. Everyone has a good idea what they're supposed to do. If it was as simple as just making that change, I think most players would do it. But the other reason has to do with timing. When you change one thing on a throw, you'll inevitably change something else. You correct something that was off, then all of a sudden something that was correct might become off. I think about the old Looney Tunes cartoon. I forget the character, but someone was hit in the head with a mallet and got a big old bump on their head. And they pushed the bump down and whoop, another bump came up. Push that bump down, whoop, another bump comes up. That's what I think that approach can do. Instead, what I do is what I call layered approach. I believe the way we learn is by doing one thing at a time. So for example, when we do the backhand, I'm going to have you do just your footwork. That's pretty easy, just your feet, 1, 2, 3. That's a piece of cake. Okay, once you can do your footwork without thinking about it, we're going to get you on a line. Once you square up to the line without thinking about it, we're going to put the disc in the right position. Once the disc is in the right position, then I'm going to get your posture right. Once your posture is right, now you're going to pull the disc across the right part of your body. Once I do that, I'm going to get your head into the right position. Once your head's in the right position, I'm going to get your wrist straight. But each step is going to be one thing. I personally don't learn by being given 3 or 4 different things to do at once. Maybe I'm just not smart enough, but I'm incapable of doing 4 things correctly. But I'm pretty darn good at doing one. So I impart the same thing that works for me to those people who like my style of teaching. I'll give you one thing to do, then we add one thing, we add another thing, and then with the experience of teaching, I know the order to do these things, and I know how to correct when one thing does something else that may get thrown off. But it's a layered approach. Layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. It ends with 1, 2, plant, throw, correct timing, on a line, good posture, disc across your chest, head where it's supposed to be, wrist straight. The disc flies down the line you want. It flies as far as your body is capable of at this point in history with your level of experience, athleticism, height, all the things. Doesn't mean it's not going to get better, but we maximize what your body can do today. And then you go out and throw. Not easy, but simple. So that is my approach to teaching. If this sounds like this lines up with what you're looking for, message me at discgolflesson@gmail.com. Again, lesson is singular. And if you're interested in hearing about my 1 or 3 day seminars, message me at discgolflesson@gmail.com. In every case, please give me your phone number and let me know what state you're in. This will help me know when to call about the one-on-one video lessons. It'll also let me know when there's interest in a town, what town I should be doing my seminars in next. Hope that helps. Hey everyone, I'm now on Patreon. Click the link below. Not only keep the free content coming with tutorials, tips, podcasts, etc., but get a bunch of free stuff like live stream Q&As, copy of my book, voting on topics, behind the scenes, bunch of cool stuff. Click the link down below to join.